What's up, guys? Vince Reddy here, aka Bboy Vinzel, and yeah, welcome back to more of the Bboy cast, where I talk about news or anything happening within the breaking culture, a culture that I've been a part of for years and decades, and it's pretty much hasn't been the same as it used to be, but especially when it comes to talking about this, because no one else in the community is really talking much about breaking, and I guess I'm the fewest ones out there. I mean, there are ones, but they're probably smaller than me and unknown, like me and all that. I'm known as in the anime community or the webtoon community for sure, but when it comes to breaking, yeah, there's basically no chance. I mean, I used to be in my prime, or at least somewhat, like before my channel got terminated. But yeah, here I am again. Anyways, yeah, a couple of news, couple of stuff to talk about within the breaking world, and also I'm gonna try to see if I can get this true this quick, in a way, because it's been a busy couple weeks. It's been rough still. Life is not never getting easy for me, especially since I lost my home. But other than that, yeah, let's talk about whatever BS that the breaking world is showcasing, or stuff that in terms of my opinions, because this is what this series of this podcast is all about, is basically sharing you the unfiltered opinions or the unwoke opinions about myself in terms of breaking. So, and also what's been going on, and especially in discussions, because there's many discussions in breaking that has never been in a high level of really announcing or news or whatever. And there is a couple of channels that does that, like Spin Theory with Smurf and his opinions, which we're gonna get into it later, and also Bboy Online, which is part of like the Russian Association, and I guess one of them actually talks about within the breaking world. I guess one that is part of it, like one of the staffs and something, but like Bboy Online, which showcases online battles from Russia, and Russia's been killing it, especially through their ROBC event or something like that. It was some Russian event. I don't know what it is. It is associated with the Russian Olympics, but I believe it's something that has to do with the FDSARR that they have going on. So I'm not sure what it is. I believe there was a big, huge battles happening within that, one involving Green Panda. You got Robin and Kinder in there, and also you got some other cats like OBC, Original Style. Two crews are, a couple of crews that also Chorito is also part of. So an amazing forefront, especially B-Boy Bumblebee being the first Olympian gold medalist from the Youth Olympics that actually competed there. I'm not sure if he won. I wouldn't be surprised, but also you got Jamal, of course. He's dope. So yeah, speaking of Olympics, there has been going things. Right now, the Winter Olympics is on a streak. It's I'm not sure if it's doing well. From what I heard, it's pretty bad. So I don't know. Take that as you will. At least that's what most people be thinking about the Olympics nowadays. Like, oh, who watches the Olympics or whatever? All that BS. Anyways, but the Winter Olympics had like Kid Karam and Sunny, and they were ice skating. I think I saw this in their story time, and they had it for like with Team GB, which is the British Olympic team or association with the Olympics. I don't know much about politics within the Olympics. I'm gonna be honest, but yeah, it's Team GB, and also yeah, they're part of Team GB because they are Olympic athletes that are gonna be competing for Paris 2024, and I think they were doing something with a TV show, them and also other breakers that are part of the Team GB team, and it seems like they're like they were ice skating, and also they were doing a little bit of breaking showcases. I mean, ever since Kid Graham, I guess it was his Nike associations that he's been getting a bunch of big things in the breaking world in terms of like doing showcases and stuff like that, especially doing one with JD Street, the sneaker wear that actually happened, like an event there. And I'm kind of looking forward to many stuff that he's doing. I mean, and I'm for sure that Sonny, looking forward to many battles this year that he's willing to throw. Will it be different or different styles? He's always innovating his power and all that. So yeah, that's what I saw in their story time. I'm not sure where it's going to be showing or anything or a TV show for it, but that's what I heard. And yeah, there was this whole thing that happened. Shout out to Bboy Flea Rock. He lost his YouTube channel and then he got it back. I'm not sure what that's about, but yeah, Flea Rock lost his channel. That has to suck. He was hacked, and a couple days later, he got his channel back. So, pretty much, and also that would suck if his channel was deleted, like for real, and if the hacker really took hold of it. But thankfully, that YouTube for some reason actually got his stuff back. Because, and he's pretty lucky because I never got my channel back when it was terminated. So lucky him. And yeah, Flea Rock had like these battles, like the 360 something days challenge that happened last year. And all that work being deleted, I was kind of like scared for him. I was like, oh man, that would suck. But at least he got it back, his YouTube channel back, thanks to the community actually, helping him. And I really do appreciate how the breaking community is, there to really protect most of the b-boys that are going through stuff, especially with Gravity with his like leg injury. I believe he had that a couple of years ago, and you got the breaking community funding the hospital bills or some kind of like resurgence of something, for like what was it, like a PayPal or whatever, or a GoFundMe for his leg surgery. And the b-boy community actually helped out with him, and that was some huge respect. And Gravity's a big name out there, especially the two wins he got from Skill Talk and, well, Skills Talk, okay, not Skill Talk, but Skills Talk, which sounds like a podcast. Again, please let there be more b-boy podcasts so I don't have to keep doing these. And also Full Force Anniversary. So he won two of these events with his crew, Vicious by Nature, which I guess is in relations to his sponsor, Catchwreck, actually clothing brand that he created, Catchwreck, which I wish they call it Catchwreck, but you know, what is it, Naughty by Nature or something like that, or Skills by Nature, Vicious by Nature. Yeah, okay, that's what it's called. It's pretty much a doper name, and yeah, also like the Full Force Anniversary. I forget which one was the solo he did. I'm not sure if he did a solo. He did one with a crew. I think both of them are crews. One that is 4v4 and one is the 2v2. And the 4v4 he won, 2v2 he won. He actually defeat Mod Squad. And most of the people there were cheering for Mod Squad. Also, another thing I want to really bring out here. Hawaii was taking over. I think Hijack was really on his level. He's always on his level whenever he goes to these events. There's this certain like essence or something in his energy that he's just like wowing. He's just like all over the place. I'm just like, where do you get this energy? Like it's insane. Like he just, like, man, like Hijack is just like, I knew I put him in the top list for a reason, to know that he's just one of the best out there. But also Arc is still doing it. I met B-Boy Arc back when I was at Hawaii at this event, at the Melting Pot event that he set up. And I wish I met Hijack. I didn't meet Hijack when I was there because yeah. And I feel like I told this story many times that I didn't have the time to meet him. But yeah, and also Alessandra was there from Italy. That was dope. People were calling out her like move that she bitten, or bite, like the move that she got from like Rockazilla or Rockadilla from Super Crew, the back rock. So I knew that was coming. I was like, wait a minute. The first time I saw Alessandra, I was like, I know where that move came from. And if she bring that to like to not California, this is Nevada. If she brought that to the U.S., they're gonna call her out for it, and of course that happened. And I heard someone in the crowd like, "Yo, that's a back rock move. That's from Rockadilla," And also, the skills talk. So from what you see here, these are the sponsor associations, as you see here in the background. Skills talk, or at least from B-Boy Network and B-Boy Gravity, say that this event was sponsored by Vans. And pretty much Vans, I don't know what it is a pretty big deal within the breaking culture, because for some reason, so many b-boys are like, oh, I'm gonna be the new Vans, oh, I'm gonna be this Vans, or I'm gonna be like, sponsored by Vans one day, and also I remember, I will never forget, b-boy Zeku called out, uh who called out, I don't know, called out Vans, I guess, or X Games. It was either one of them. Shout out to Zeku. But called out Vans saying like, "Yo, we're gonna be in the Olympics. You got sponsors from BMX near that, and why not join with us or something like that." I forget the exact quote. It was on it was on Instagram, and I also wonder that, like, why is Vans not included? Nike is included in breaking. They're sponsoring B boys and B girls, especially with Jilu and Kid Karam, and also Reebok's sponsoring Domke at one point, and Adidas being associated with breaking history years ago, especially that old video game that called it's just called B-Boy the video game or whatever. It was on PlayStation. It was not the best, but there was a bunch of Adidas clothing when doing the player selection. So it's kind of strange because it's like, why is Vans not included? Vans made a breaking shoe back in the 80s. So many people forgot about that, and for some reason they just not included. And I wish they were, because that would be dope if they were. The raw essence that Vans tend to push for in skateboarding, that could be the same thing for breaking. And Vans is my favorite shoe to skate, but also it would be a cool shoe for it to be part of breaking, and it's not. So yeah, I don't know what's up with that. Part of me wants to discover why, but yeah, it is what it is. And Vans is not a sponsor for Skills Talk. B-Boy Network says it is. Gravity says it was a sponsor for Skills Talk, the B-Boy event in Las Vegas, and it's not. So I don't see where they're getting this. I don't see where the information is coming from. I saw bits in here that is somewhat, and part of me really questions, is Skill Talk really, like, is it really sponsored by Vans? Because before the whole Nike thing, I always question, like, okay, which sponsor is authentic? Because is it illegal to actually fake your sponsors? Like, hey, guess what? This event is sponsored by New Balance or Red Bull, when it's not, you know? And there's other events that are sponsored, but like that, but doesn't mean your event is sponsored. If I made an event, it's not going to be sponsored by Red Bull because it's not on that level yet. It's probably got to have no sponsors. And if I troll a sponsor, there could be a chance I go to jail for that or go to court. So they really got to really showcase the authenticity, okay? Especially when Korea was coming up, and also you saw all these events. And Nike's pretty big there, so they had like a bunch of B-Boy events that were sponsored by Nike. And part of me was like, okay, are they really sponsored by Nike? And yes, they are sponsored by Nike. I saw it. And I think I saw the same thing with JDSF, which had their own battle. It's the Japanese Dance Sport Federation, and had a breaking, and also had like Shigekix was killing it. We got the B-Girls on the rise, of course, as usual, since B-Girls are one of the best when it comes to in Japan, B-Girls are the best. Ami versus IU, which are two sisters that for some reason are battling. And there just seems to be in the same bracket, and like only either one to win. Of course, Ami typically wins. It's always get this weird feel of B-Girls in Japan, like overratedly winning. Got Ayumi. Yeah, I get it. She's going to win. You see her in the bracket, she's going to win. It's the freaking Meno effect. B1 Meno, you see him in any bracket, you will immediately win. It's only a question if he goes up against Gravity. That would be a dope battle. Anyways, but yeah, JDSF, I saw their little billboard banner thing on Instagram, and I saw a Nike logo. And I'm like, wait, are they sponsored by Nike? I know they're sponsored by like Kosei or whatever these sponsors, other associations are. I don't really care about that much. Like, what is Kosei? Like, what is that? Like a drink or whatever? Like, and also these other sponsors that I never heard of. But I saw a Nike logo, and I was like, are they sponsored by Nike? Because I remember a Kosei jersey that had that B-Boy Issei was rocking, and it had a Nike logo behind it. And also the rest of them had Nike logos when they were at the WDSF, at the breaking leagues, and for the Olympic channel. So I'm like, where is it? Like, is it like what happened to the Nike sponsor that they so happen to have? Got authenticity. It's always important to know like who has an actual sponsor, who doesn't have. Okay, you don't see me putting sponsors being part of teams and actually faking it, because, well, that's not what I do. Because you get called out for that, and here I am doing a favor in the community, calling out certain events like, okay, is this real or is this not? I will never forget. Stance did something for Adidas, and Adidas did not mention them at all. All the Adidas handles, Adidas Originals, Adidas Men, Adidas Women, Adidas LA, all the Adidas, especially the main Adidas Instagram handle, did not call out for like Stance, did not tag them when they were doing an event, did not mention them at all. You don't see anything breaking related when Stance was doing a quote unquote collab with Adidas. So hopefully that change at the future at some point, because it gets annoying. Also, I guess there is an authentic sponsor. When I saw Full Force Anniversary was Jack in the Box, which was funny. Jack in the Box, I go there almost every day because they're morally affordable in terms of like where I want to eat. If in case I go outside to go work out or go to class, that's where I go for lunch, honestly. And it's cool to see them as a sponsor. It's like they like, oh, a lot of b-boys buy our foods, right? Fast foods and stuff, even though most b-boys and b-girls don't really eat a lot of fast foods for obvious reasons, but okay. And they just so happen to give them a sponsor. So yeah, shout out to Jack in the Box for that. And also, yeah, it seems like these two events were okay. Also, there was a huge discussion, and this is where I get into meat and tomatoes or whatever you call it, in a Space City Classic, where B-Boy Smurf was calling out, or basically was criticizing, especially the many people within the community was criticizing about the whole B-Boy versus B-Girl battles in Space City Classic that was going to happen in February 25th. And it seems like there is like some people that are up in arms about the whole like, gender versus gender thing. I feel like, personally, the Olympics, they pretty much, I think like what it was, basketball, or it was either basketball or football, soccer, but, many European countries or most people would call it football, football. But they had a dispute in that community. I forget when, but about like, girl versus boys, and, have same gender, kind of like, same gender kind of like matches. And of course, many people would debunk that because it doesn't make sense and it wouldn't be fair, because, they say like scientifically men and women are different. And listen, I don't know anything about biology, but there's a part of me where I'm like, that makes sense, because for like in breaking is kind of different. Breaking, skateboarding, BMX, rollerblading is different because it's not a contact sport. I mean, breaking in some cases it is in terms of the burns. I fake slap you and do a freeze. Like, guarantee, I'm trying to get points out here. I don't care about you. Like, and, basically I kind of see, I did see some battles, right? There are some battles about the whole, like, this has been done before, that Space City Classic is doing, Break Free, or, B-Boy Moy and B-Boy Jeremy is doing. And it has been done before. But to a level like this and trying to make it like the norm is kind of ridiculous. It's kind of cringe, because I get what they're trying to do, like they brought B-Girl Logistics in, and like, shout out to Logistics, my favorite B-Girls. You got to put her on the spot about this whole conversation. There's been a lot of battles that Logistics beaten B-Boys in many ways, and also with our crew. And there's many crews that has like a mixture, especially crews nowadays. Crew v crew has like mix of B-girls within the B-boys, and sometimes kids, and sometimes people are disabled, and sometimes people that are not from that country. It's a full melting pot of just different B-boys and B-girls going up against each other, no matter who you are. Your skills matter. And the same thing with skateboarding. Like, it doesn't matter who you're from, God, I can't speak, where you're from, or what age you are. Even like, there was like a freaking 13-year-old that won the golden female skateboard Olympics, the first ever, and it happens to be a 13-year-old girl from Brazil that actually won. So it's possible that anyone, doesn't matter who you are, can win. And pretty much this whole conversation surrounding it just doesn't make sense. I'm like, why is Space City Classic, Break Free, trying to promote this so big and so wide and all that? Like, it doesn't make sense, because you don't need to. You just like, oh, we're just gonna have battle. And that's it. Just plain simple, as if you're new to it now. It's like, is this a big thing and have a discussion and all that? But it made sense why they have a discussion because there are people that, are against this. They're pretty much like that. And personally for me, like I do understand like, B girls and B boys are, built different. But personally, like, the Olympics, they're not gonna really you gotta tell them like, hey Olympics, can we just have like, the a mixture of all these genders come together and battle as one and something like that? Guaranteed the Olympics would actually take that, but at the same time it wouldn't make sense because there is a top category for only the male and the female. And that's it. And pretty much, yeah, that's their rules and that's what they want. And I guess, that's the same thing I say for Space City Classic. That's their rules and that's what they choose to have. But I don't know where they just choose to have this. Like, pretty much, I wouldn't be cool if they did announce it. But at the same time, they're just, signaling and actually just sharing about it and pretty much wanted to bring that to the culture, which is, I get what you're doing, break free. But at the same time, like, come on. And also, yeah, I for most of Smurf's opinions, go to Spin Theory for his opinions about it. I definitely agree with him for the most part, how this is, somewhat pointless, because it happened before. Like, you really want to really make this like, oh, it's the first. No, it's not. It's not the first ever, like, B-boy versus B-girl kind of thing. It has been done before, anyways. But yeah, looking forward to Space City Classic, see how the battles are. They look nice, the typical usual. You got, the Monster B-boys mixed with the Saucony, like Jeremy, B-boys. And also, speaking of Saucony sneakers, I think they had a little, breaking. I feel like they're taking over breaking. You see Fast Foot, B-boy Fast Foot from Russia, being promoted for Saucony's. And also Vicious from, not Vicious Victor, but Vicious from Canada. Now is living in Finland, being sponsored by Saucony. And of course, Jeremy and Moy, they still have their Saucony sponsor. And now we got Zeku rocking Saucony sneakers, breaking with them. And I'm always curious. I never actually seen Saucony sneakers. It seems like they're getting popular out there, especially with Trinidad and that video he made, and especially the Shoe Collective. So it's interesting to see that. And pretty much their opinions. Speaking of sneakers, Algori World Battle is going to happen. Algori Shoes, the little sneaker sponsor that is part of Portugal. And also Kuzia, B-Boy Kuzia from Black Market and also from Navi Crew, a good friend of Lucy Sky. And we're going to get Lucy Sky to admit it. Kuzia did something for Pumas in Puma, Ukraine. Did a little collab with these cool visuals he does. And if you know Kuzia, he's known for the visuals, for the the elusive videos he makes. And this one seems to be pretty dope, and it's for Pumas. And I wonder if it's going to be like a commercial with the soundtrack. And of course, it's typical, like, really raunchy movements that he makes. Like, you can just, every time he breaks, he just looks like he's so hungry. Like, he's just hungry for more. Kuzia is that kind of B-boy. So, yeah, shout out to him for really, and it seems like Puma's taking over. They saw the signal between Nike and like, we're taking over. Anyways, and also Break the Floor just happened. I haven't seen the whole stream yet, but it just happened. It happened in Cannes, France. Cannes. I don't know how to say it right, but yeah, in France. And yeah, Black Market is back. Black Market Crew, not Black Market. It's like, oh, we're gonna get some cocaine. No, calm down. Okay, I'm not talking about that black market, like you're selling illegal meats or something. But Black Market Crew, which is Phil Wizard, Shingekix, and Lucy Sky. My personal favorite super crew is back. So that's dope. And pretty much they're back battling and Break the Floor as usual, because it almost feels like, they met them before. They've been there before and Break the Floor. And one thing about Break the Floor, what's up with the cheerleaders? They have like freaking cheerleaders. They always have these random, like, like, what is it? Like stuntmen, parkour people, cheerleaders, and Break the Floor just happens to have it with the host. I get it, but my God, it's so cringy. I was like, okay, and these are not like the top tier cheerleaders. I don't know anything about cheerleaders, but I do know who the top cheerleaders, that Netflix show, I forget what it's called. It's just called Cheer from Netflix. and it's like one of the top best out there. Cheerleading squads from a university in Texas. I forget the name. I think it's called Narrow or whatever. But yeah, it's not in that level. Like they're doing like different dives and also making towers or whatever. But it's just like typical cheerleaders came out of nowhere and just like cheering, which I get, but at the same time, they're always in the way of these b-boys that are in b-girls like trying to compete, and they're always in the way, and the freaking b-boys awkwardly, and some of them has to like move past them like, excuse me, it's just it's so ridiculous. Like it's like why does the host try to really extravaganza, accelerate the action? It's like it's over out there in the mixture of yellow and everything. It's a dope event. I always remember some good times in Break the Floor, but man, it's always funny to really realize that. But I think that's what I have so far. Also, Floor Wars Benelux 2022 just happened, which is all considering like the Netherlands, Belgium, and France, and also in Luxembourg if they ever have a crew there. But yeah, I saw a couple of battles there from Lock Sam, the YouTube channel, Marciano, and also Ozzy and Alicia is still savage. Ozzy was dope, new addition to First Class, and yeah, Symbol and was dope as well, and also like Bow Droids, which is killing it, and Sambo was there, I think. Well, he's there to coach Bow Droids, but that was dope to see. WIBA 2000. Well, it's actually 2021. B-Boy World was kind of late with it. The same thing I'm late with all these podcasts, so I don't blame them. But yeah, Uzi Rock and Cole was killing it. But also another thing, man, they gotta get rid of the whole lights, extravagance again. Okay, there's some events that, especially in Europe, they're a little bit too extravagant. And I understand why, because of the Paris 2024, the Olympics, and also how they're really trained to actually go overhype with that. But at the same time, the whole lights thing is like this, strobe lights kind of really bothers a lot of, especially the battlers. They don't need to freaking flash the lights all the time. They just need to put it in a good dim level or good lighting level to actually see what the b-boy and b-girl are doing on the stage. Don't freaking like flash the lights as if it's like a rave show. It is not. It is not. It is a battle sport dance. And we're trying to see who wins for the sake of the judges and for the sake of the people and the people that are watching from home. That's just what I'll put out there. And I remember in WIBA in I guess last year or this year, I forget, that they just have these flashing lights, especially the one that happened in Peregrino in like a French battle. Like it was the battle block jam. They had the flashing lights out of nowhere, and I was like, what is this even necessary? Like it's like dark and light in terms of seconds, and just coming out of nowhere, you know what I mean? Anyways, that's it for this B-Boy cast. I gotta get to work for the videos that do matter, which is the webtoon vids. Other than that, I'll see you when I see you. I'm out here.